another beautiful day here in New England. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Just leaving the gym. And I thought I'd take just a free moment to kind of talk about usually my daily conversations at the gym, but today seemed to be more of those conversations as people talk to each other and they kind of dive into the middle of conversations. But anyway, people always ask me, how do I lift so much? How do I do what I do at my age? And they all assume that I'm in my low 50s, mid 50s, and I'm actually pretty close to my mid 60s now. But anyway, I usually try to tell them about my journey and kind of how I got here and how I actually feel like I'm in my 40s and I can actually lift more weights and do more things than I could do in my 40s. And when I try to tell people, it's all about the science and understanding how your body works and, you know, what slows you down and why being older is not necessarily a bad thing, right? I like to say you're older and wiser, but I'm not really sure about that either. But what I usually tell people is, look, you know, my journey started back in 2019 when I got diagnosed with advanced autonomic dysfunction, Syncope, and ultimately Widowmaker. So for me, it was an eye-opening experience, and I started to learn a lot. And the doctors that tested me showed me the equipment that they were using fascinated me. So long story short, I ended up taking over the company and rebranding it and doing a lot of things to it to make it more commercially available and get more people tested. Now, your autonomic nervous system, for those who don't know what it is, it's basically the automatic part of your body, right? It keeps all systems go. It controls every major function in your body. So it doesn't matter what it is, it's pretty much controlling everything. So if you think about that for a second, it's controlled by two separate systems that work together, sympathetic and parasympathetic. And I don't want to bore everybody here, but when those are not working correctly and they're off one way or the other, it can cause a myriad of different issues, everything from anxiety, depression, PTSD, cardiovascular issues, gastrointestinal issues, you name it, because that part of your body, the physiological part of your body, is not working correctly. Now, you would think this would be well known and this would be something every doctor would test for, but it's not. When you go for your physical, they do the normal biological stuff, and you know, it's really, you know, maybe a 12 lead ECG or whatever they do, some blood work, but nothing is really telling you anything about the physiological part of your body, how your internal systems are all working, which to me would make more sense that this test would be part of a physical, but it's not. And there's lots of reasons and conspiracy theories that I won't go into on this video. But so what I try to coach people on, and what I was coaching people on today is, yes, sir, you might be, 60 years old, but it doesn't mean that you just come here and go through the motions. You have to come here with a purpose, and that purpose should be to build muscle mass, because muscle mass is longevity. Okay, when you're at the gym and you're stressing your body, okay, all these good things are happening physically, physiologically, socially, biologically. So many things are going on for you to do that. Now, you don't have to go to the gym, be a power lifter. I'm not saying that. But you don't have to go to the gym at all if you don't want to. But, certainly you need to build that muscle mass. You have to focus on, type 1 muscles, type 2 muscles. You have to make sure that you, do the right reps and the right weights. And it's not a hard thing to learn. You just have to listen to your body and push your body to certain points, right? Whatever you're comfortable with. Overtraining is a bad thing from a physiological standpoint, because your body could go into protection mechanism, which means your autonomic nervous system is going to slow your heart rate. You probably end up fatigued, yada, yada, yada. But as long as you know where you are from a baseline, from an autonomic standpoint, and you treat your body so your body looks at exercise as stress until it doesn't. And how do you get there? Well, for some people it's low and slow. Some people's bodies, will react better. and so you can go faster, harder. But anybody that's older, like me, and again, I feel amazing. I probably still need to lose weight, and yada, 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 but you know what? You got to live too, right? So I try to tell people, do what you think your body needs, but try to push yourself, because again, being old doesn't mean you have to be sitting on the couch or being fatigued or sleeping or, all the time. You got to keep your mind fresh. So I would recommend taking like creatine, not only for your muscle mass, but also for your brain. Creatine is magic. Our ALA, again, is a super antioxidant. You need to take that. K2, D3, and I can go through all these things in detail. What I'm trying to do is get the message out there. Look, I am not a certified health and wellness anything. And I have to admit, most certified health and wellness people that I talk to, I'll be honest with you, they've been trained by going to school, listen to the videos, listen to all the, all the other stuff, the books, all the stuff that's already documented. But when you're practicing anything like medicine, or you're a health professional and you have your own practice, the practice actually means that you don't know it all. You're practicing to learn more, to help people and understand, not everybody's the same, everybody's different. So you need to practice. And most people don't understand that. They think they go to school, they get their degree or their MD or their PhD or whatever, and they're done. Well, I got news for you, you're not done. You're not ever done learning, because not everybody knows everything about the human body. And certainly, as case in point, not everybody knows about the physiological part of your body, right? Because go try to get an autonomic test. People are going to be like, oh, well, you need to get a tilt table. And a tilt table is a long, painful, stupid process where you could get a simple one, like with Luminary Clinic or using the Physio-PS technology, where, it's not stressful, it's a really easy test, and it's very accurate, and it's the only one that can really diagnose you. And a lot of people will tell you from an autonomic standpoint that, unfortunately have autonomic dysfunction and it can't be cured. Well, I get news for you. I'm living proof that it can be. Okay, so don't let anybody tell you you will always have to suffer from it, because you don't. So listen, simple supplementation, lifestyle changes, and again, you don't have to go to the gym and be a beast. Do it if you want to, but make sure you're building enough muscle, because don't forget, after the age of 40, you're losing 2% of your muscle mass per year. So if you add that up and you don't keep adding to your muscle mass, well, when you're in your 60s and 70s, you're going to lose a lot of it, and you're going to be very frail. And if you fall and break your hip or whatever, your mortality rate goes up significantly. So you really just need to take care of that part of your body. Again, I'm not a gym freak. But I have learned a lot going from 2019, where they gave me 3 to 5 years to live, and here I am today, feeling so much better. Of course, now I pretty much own the company that has the technology, so I can test myself all the time, and I have access to researchers around the world and doctors around the world that are in practice, so they're practicing medicine, but they're also learning a lot. So things like blood pressure, diabetes, all these things, a lot of that can be chalked up to autonomic dysfunction, things like POTS, EDS hypermobility. All these things are typically going to be autonomic based, even things like COVID and post-COVID, or any virus for that matter. So my message here today is, listen to your body. Get out there, get some exercise. Even if you don't think you can do it, start small, low and slow, gradually build it. And when you get older, you will feel amazing. You will also fight off diseases, chronic diseases. Let's face it, the 80% of our expenditure for our healthcare system is chronic care management. And those are people that are chronically ill. Not all of them can be helped, but a lot of them could help themselves, get them off those rolls, get active, and just try to stay active. Because as you get older, I'm sure most people listening to this right now, you want your golden years, so to speak. And by the way, by today's standards, you're middle aged by the time you're 38. Just a note there. But yeah, listen, just feed your body, treat your body good. Anything in moderation. That's kind of one of those messages that people really need to understand is everything in moderation. So if you're going to drink or do whatever you're doing, do it, but just think about it, right? Every ounce of alcohol you put into your body, it takes 1 hour for your liver to process that alcohol. Okay, so if you make drinks like I do, your liver's going to be working overtime. And what happens is when the liver can't process it, it releases it out into your bloodstream, and it usually converts to sugar and to fat, and some of that actually is poisonous. That's why you get headaches from nitrates that are in the wine and alcohol and all the rest of this crap. So again, everything, I'm not saying don't do it. You got to live your life, right? But just think about what impact is that making on your body at the end of the day. So, all right, I'll stop now because there's so many more things that I'm going to hopefully relay to people. Things that have helped me personally that I think will help just about anybody out there. And here's a key message for all you people out there that are 50 and older. Okay, go get a calcium score test done. Spend $150, $200, get a calcium score test done. It's going to tell you a lot. If your score is over 0, even if it's 1, you got to start thinking about, okay, I'm going to have a calcium issue. By the time you're older, it could be a big problem, and you need to make sure you increase your endothelin production. And I'll go into that in other videos. But take beetroot powder and all those good things. But I'll go more into that later on. Again, these are all things that I found out the hard way that I'm trying to relay to other people. Not that I want to be a preacher, but hey, if it helped me, it helps other people. And we also have our own clinics now, luminary clinics, and we're putting those around the world. We got them in Mexico and now in Sydney, Australia. So we're trying to build out those clinics. And again, they're not high pressure environments. We're not, we don't take insurance and not coding people to death, So if you want any more information, just follow me, give me some comments. Always glad to help. That's one of the things in my life right now that I love to do is help people and hopefully improve their health journey. So, all right. Again, I'm going to go try to enjoy a little bit of the sunshine before I have to work too much today. Cheers.